Welcome to another video, guys. This is the Champions League playoffs prediction. Now, this is gonna be obviously the first video. We're gonna do another one after the first leg and see how it plays out until then. But I'm also gonna give you my prediction how it will play out for both legs right now. So, the Champions League phase is over, and we've seen some crazy shit. PSG current holders have not even qualified via the top 8. Real Madrid, the record holders of the competition with 15, also haven't qualified. Same goes for the finalist of last year, Inter Milan. Juve, Atletico, Newcastle as well. Dortmund, who easily qualified last year via the top 8, couldn't qualify this year. And some drama with Benfica, you've seen it, just made the top 24 for the playoffs. But it's kind of dumb because now they're playing us again. And Napoli couldn't qualify at all in the top 24, which is an absolute disgrace. Let's just see the matchups then. Galatasaray versus Juve. Now the first leg is in Turkey, and Galatasaray has one of the best fan bases in the entire world. They do have this aura, this atmosphere in the stadium that even attracts big players in the world of football, bigger clubs like Leroy Sané, who's playing there right now, Victor Osimhen, Mauro Icardi, İlkay Gündoğan, very big players right there. And Gala is kind of like the, I would say, Turkish Newcastle. I hope I don't get ridiculed for that, because their ground is a fortress. Although I do have to say that the Turkish fans are even more emphatic and fanatic than the English fans. Now, this could very well be a Gala win. Now, they've been, I think, quite inconsistent within the league phase, but they've made the top 24, which Napoli, for example, Victor Osimhen's old club, couldn't do. Gala is with, well, in the league table, they were on 20th with 10 points, which is not too shabby. It's okay, but still, within the fixtures, you did see some up and downs. They beat Liverpool, but I think, didn't they lose to Bodo or someone like that? They lost to City, which is fair. Then they drew to Atletico. Crazy, kinda. Then we did have the game against Monaco, which they lost. Yeah, that one hurts a bit. Then we got, yeah, they lost to USG, but USG was quite good this year. Yeah, they won against Bodo. You remember, Bodo beat City. They won against Liverpool. So they've had their ups and downs, Gala. Now, Gala, I think, will actually win their first leg with a 2-1. Goals from Osimhen, Icardi, and probably one for Yildiz on his more or less home soil. I don't know which club he supports in Turkey, but currently their best player. And yeah, Juve, honestly, I've watched them a bit this season. They've been up and down. Now under Spalletti, starting to building some consistency, are in a top 4 race in the Serie A right now, but they are over 10 points below Inter in the league. And they've been quite disappointing in the Champions League, actually, I would say. Now they are on 13th on 13 points in the Champions League, which is okay. 3 wins, 2 draws from the last 5 games in the Champions League. They won against Benfica, yeah, which is quite impressive, considering how they played against Real Madrid. Paphos, yeah, must win, and a close win against Bodo. They drew to Sporting. Yeah, Sporting is also kind of nuts that they qualified from the top 8. I think they did have quite an easy run of fixtures like Tottenham. And this game right here. Yeah, so 2-1 in the first leg for Gala, and then a 2-0 for Juve, which makes it 3-2 for Juve on aggregate. In the second leg, I think we will see Goal scorers we will predict for the second leg in the next video, because we will have to see who's out until then. Maybe someone gets injured. So 3-2 for Juve on aggregate. Close tie. Could go either way. Could go to extra time or penalties in the second round as well. Next up. Oh my god, bro. Now, I will have to say, if we lose this, Real Madrid will be a bigger disgrace this season than the result Barcelona had the other day, where they lost 4-0 to Atletico, which generally could have been a 6-7 or 8-0. It was that bad. It could have been the worst result in Barcelona's history, but if we lose this, this might be an even bigger disgrace. Now, Jose Mourinho's side, Benfica are a decent team. A European middle-class team, I would call them. A Europa League team, mostly. On quality, on market value, etc. Yeah, Madrid have to win this. We've got Mbappe. Yeah, literally, man, if Mbappe alone should win us this game. But we're not as great as a unit, not as great as a team. Mourinho identified this. This is the only reason why they won the last game and are now even in the playoffs. It's kind of dumb though that they are playing us again, because now they will be out. Benfica, I think so. This game right here, Benfica just made the top 24. I think this will be a, let's go with a Benfica 2 and Real Madrid 3 in the first leg, with goals from Pavlidis and Skelderup, and for us, Mbappe, and let's give one to Vinny off the bench, I'm gonna say. If he's available, Vinny off the bench, otherwise hopefully one for Gonzalo Garcia. And the second round, as I said, I'm not gonna predict the goal scorers for that. Not yet. Second round will be a 2-0 home win with maybe 2 from Mbappe. Yeah, but as I said, goal scorers will be predicted next week then. Jimenez is now maybe also in the team. Yeah, and then Valverde can play in midfield again, hopefully, our captain. Now, next up, Dortmund versus Atalanta Bergamo. Now, Atalanta Dortmund, this could be a very high scoring game, something like a 4-4, maybe something like a 5-5 on aggregate. Interesting. Now, in the compared to the Premier League, the Champions League is much more open, so teams, they do want to play football. They don't want to just sit back and absorb pressure and hit the other team on the break, on the counter. So this competition, yeah, if you've seen like the conference from the last match day where there were 18 matches side by side, they had like 60 plus goals, so every Champions League game has 3 to 4 goals normally. This one could be an even, yeah, probably more than 4 goals. At least it has the possibility is there. So I'm going with a 3-2 for Dortmund. Mecha, probably the best player this season alongside Guirassy, but Guirassy's been very inconsistent with his goal scoring, so I'm gonna go with Mecha with 1, Guirassy with 2, so it's 3 for Dortmund and 2 for Atalanta in the first round. So 1 for Kristovic, because he's playing very good right now, and yeah, maybe 1 for the old guy Zappacosta with another one, so 3-2, and a 1-1 in the second leg. So 4-3 on aggregate, could also be like a 5-4 on aggregate, but I do think Dortmund will get through this one. Both teams, of course, just been literally in mid-table in the league table, so 17th and 15th, so basically neighbors in the table, 2 points off. Atalanta even had 2 more points. Yeah, Monaco versus PSG. Normally, I would say that PSG would absolutely smash Monaco, and they probably will. But I'm a bit skeptic, because PSG did lose against Rennes the other day. They are not invincible. Their strikers, their attack is not as good as it used to be last season, I think. Their defense is still quite okay. I think they do want even an even better center back than Sabani alongside Pacho, or they should buy one. Also, honestly, like the downgrade from Donnarumma to Safanov and Chevalier is incredible. Chevalier was quite a good keeper this season, but they have like in the backline two weaknesses. Like with one weakness, it was still okay with Marquinhos, but yeah, Chevalier is in terms of shot stopping way worse than Gigi Donnarumma. So a big loss for them. Also Ruiz, apparently bruised knee. Ruiz, very good player for them. PSG probably still the best midfield in Europe. Alongside like player quality wise, alongside Real Madrid, I would say. Kvara, Dembele, Doué. Now Kvara, a very hardworking player for them. Doué is now also back. He wasn't the most consistent since the last Champions League final, where I think he's got 2 in the final or 1 against Inter, that 5-0. And Dembele is now also coming back. So right when they need him, second part of the season. Do I think they can repeat winning the Champions League? No. Because every attacker has to click for them. That midfield needs to be... I don't know how good Zaire Emery has been this year, but Vitinha and Neves, they do need that Ruiz in midfield, or at least they play at the quality of Ruiz alongside them. And you need someone like Donnarumma in goal as well. And all 3 attackers and some good bench players should click. Otherwise, you don't win it again, you don't repeat it. Monaco have been on 21st place in the league season, so not that bad, was okay. I actually remember them. Yeah, they beat Bodo Glimt narrowly and Gala, probably still with the old coach Adi Hütter, by the way. I think he did get sacked in maybe, was it late October or November? I will need to check on that. But more than I actually thought, for me, watching them, they didn't play exciting football whatsoever. The few games I did watch them. Pogba is already injured again, I think. Yeah, calf injury. I would have wanted to see him, Pogba. Yeah, man. This, will be... I'm gonna go for a 4-1 in the first leg for PSG. Goals for Monaco, 1 for Akliouche, and 2 for Dembele, 1 for Neves, 1 for Kvaratskhelia. And a 3 or 4-0. Let's go with a 4-0 in the second leg. Maybe 3-0, because they will lean a bit back if they're already 4-1 on aggregate. So 3-0 in the second leg for PSG, so it will be a 7-1 on aggregate. Also a very notorious result, 7-1. Next up, Karabakh against Newcastle United. Now Karabakh are the Azerbaijanis, right? Yeah. So how did they even get through here? Karabakh 22nd with 10 points, not that bad. Newcastle was actually closer to top 8. Yeah, Newcastle should realistically win this, honestly. I don't know why we don't have previews of the potential lineups here. But anyways, Newcastle should win this like a 2-1, probably close away win, with goals from hopefully Voltemade again, and maybe Gordon. And for Karabakh, I don't even know who their best performer is, by the way. I have no idea who plays there. Let's go with stats. So top scorer is Bayramov, so I'm going with him for that 1 goal. And for Newcastle in the second leg, I would predict a 2-0, so it's 4-1 on aggregate. Goal scorers will wait and see for that second leg prediction. Hopefully then we also do have a lineup here, and you can see some important players missing. Livramento, Miley, very good off the bench. Joelinton, Shea, Guimaraes. So they do lack a bit of depth right now, or a bit of good substitute players because of that many injuries. Bodo versus Inter. Interesting. No, okay, that was a no pun intended. No, it was a pun intended, but it was very bad joke. Not even a lineup here again, probably, because the lineups are only out for the Tuesday games, not for the Wednesday games. So Bodo have been quite good. 9 points. Win against City. Now, I would say Like, Bodo I haven't actually watched that much, as only highlights this season. I do like to watch conference with the Champions League, so where they show and switch between who's just scored a goal between the matches played. So basically, there's like 7 matches, around 7 normally in a conference day, because there's 9 matches on a day, 2 early matches and 7 late matches. So they do that kind of conference. You could also call it the equivalent of Boxing Day in England, where they'll switch from team to team and from stream to stream also. And Bodo I've only watched there. Now Bodo is interesting because there's a prize package, not the dark horse, but a surprise package in this league phase. Now, I'm gonna go with one goal in the first leg from Jens Peter Hauge, former Serie A player. And for Inter, it's not a big game, so it's definitely one game you should predict Lautaro Martinez to score. So one for Lautaro, one for Di Marco, and one for Thuram. So 3-1 for Inter in the first leg, and a solid 3-0 or 4, maybe even 4-0 at home. Yeah, 4-0. Di Marco, Lautaro, Thuram, and one for Andy Diouf, I think. Could also be one for Bonny, but I'm going with Diouf for this 4th Inter goal scorer. Maybe he can then bag some more minutes in midfield if he keeps scoring Andy Diouf. Because, to be honest, Mkhitaryan, they do have some aging players in midfield, so hopefully he can continue to improve. And Bruges against Atletico. Now we do have, I don't know why, what FootMob does right now. What are you guys smoking? I have no idea. Bruges against Atletico. Now Atletico just beat Barcelona. That was Barcelona on a bad day. They do have a very good new player in Ademola Lookman, who is very good in terms of linking up right now with Alvarez and Griezmann from what I've seen. Very good wingers with Giuliano Simeone, Lookman, and 2 good strikers with Griezmann and Alvarez. Obviously Griezmann's aging. I don't even know if he will start in this game. Maybe he will, because Bruges is not the biggest opponent to play. Yeah, they should be in high spirits, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 3-2 for them against Bruges. Goals from the old man Van Aken and one for Forbes. I think he also scored against Barcelona, by the way. And for Atletico, Lookman and Alvarez with 2 in the first leg, and a solid 3-1 or 2-1. Let's go with a let's go with a 2-0. I think this is a safe prediction for the second leg for Atletico, which is 5-2 on aggregate for Atletico. Next up, Olympiacos, the Greek gods, versus Bayer Leverkusen. Interestingly enough, after they sacked Erik ten Hag, Leverkusen are now just doing fine. They're still in a Champions League race within the Bundesliga, only 3 points off the Champions League places. Hoffenheim is actually the team overperforming in Bundesliga right now. They're just fine, by the way. Although I do have to say Liverpool do want to, I think, buy back Charles Kwanzaa, which would not be good for them. Aleix Garcia also scored a fantastic goal. Was it against PSG in the Champions League? So wonder strike, fantastic long shot. So that's the moment I still have in mind for Leverkusen from the group phase. And I honestly do have to say that they've been decent. They just literally mid-table. Not anything world class from Leverkusen, not anything class, not anything superb, but it's enough to get you into the playoffs. 12 points, 3 wins, so 9 out of from the last 5. They've got 9 points from the last, 10 points from the last few games. So, and Olympiacos was on 18th, I think actually quite overperforming. They even gave us a game, Real Madrid, but we're about as organized as, I don't know, some herd of hippos back there, Real Madrid. So they even gave us a game. I think we played a 4-3. We played out a 4-3 win against them. So they are not to be trifled with, Olympiacos. So at home ground, I do even think that Olympiacos will get a win over Leverkusen here. A 3-2 with goals from El Kabi, who's in high spirits after that fantastic AFCON he's played. 1 goal for Podence and 1 goal for Taremi, and 1 goal for Tillman, who's been quite good right now. 1 for Grimaldo, free kick, of course. And the second leg will be a shock because it's a 1-1 and Olympiacos will then advance with a 4-3 on aggregate. That would be quite nice to see. As I said, we're gonna do another predictions video after the first leg and see how it could play out then. So this will generally be considered the predictions for the first legs. Yeah, guys, what do you think? Am I completely wrong? Do I have some points? Do you agree with some of the predictions? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Share this video with some friends. Would be nice to help to grow the channel a bit. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.